UK to ban wet wipes to fight plastics pollution. Just flush it down the toilet. What could possibly go wrong? The UK government announced it will ban wet wipes as part of its 25-year environmental plan to battle plastics pollution. According to The Sun, the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs now classes wet wipes as a serious environmental hazard, along with plastic bags. Wet wipes are made from polyester and are non-biodegradable. Makers of wet wipes say their products can be flushed, but they do not disintegrate in the sewers like toilet paper, which lead to sewer blockages. According to The Guardian, a study from Water UK found that wet wipes are responsible for 93% of the material causing sewer blockages in the country. For those concerned about cleanliness, thank God there are still bidets. As for America, they'll continue to use good old TP, because smearing doo-doo all over your backside is better than cleaning it off anyway. It's everywhere, including in our videos. China doesn't want the UK's recycled plastic anymore. Rich countries are now scrambling to find other places to dump their garbage after China's recent plastics ban. China imported 7.3 million tons of plastic waste in 2017 from the US, the EU, the UK, and Japan. But starting this year, it's banning 24 categories of recyclables and solid waste. Britain alone sends around two-thirds, about 500,000 tons, of its recycled plastic to China every year. UK recycling firms are now looking to Malaysia and Vietnam. However, both those countries have capacity issues. Unless other alternative markets can be found, the plastics will have to be sent for incineration or dumped in a landfill. Well, we could always start launching all of our garbage into space. Straws are a huge part of the global plastic problem. The world has a huge plastics problem, but it's totally going to get better. No, it's not. Plastic straws are increasingly drawing attention from conservation movements. In the US alone, Americans discard around 500 million plastic straws a day, enough to circle the globe twice or fill 125 school buses. Straws are normally not recycled because they're often made from several different types of plastics and they're small in size. Straw pollution contributes to the 8 million tons of plastic dumped into oceans each year. At the current rate, there will be more plastic than fish in the water by 2050. Reusable glass straws, stainless steel, copper, and bamboo are all more sustainable alternatives than single-use plastic straws. The UK says it plans to include straws in its ban on all plastic waste by 2042. 2042? Wow, Britain. Really taking the lead on the conservation front there.
Waste plastic can help build cheaper homes. A New York startup has developed an innovative way to recycle waste plastic, converting it into an alternative building material that can be used to build affordable housing. The bifusion machine can be powered by propane gas or electricity. It can process all types of plastic waste. The plastic waste does not have to be reprocessed. Instead, it's shredded inside the machine before it's made into a new material called replast and compressed into bricks. The replast bricks are not as strong as concrete, so are reinforced with steel rods, wire, and layers of mortar. The company said replast has been used in projects including retaining walls in New Zealand and California, which have withstood environmental tests including earthquakes. The company has so far raised around $30,000 of a $250,000 target on Indiegogo. On its campaign page, it says the bifusion machine will likely be available in the US by May next year.
Most of the plastic in the ocean comes from these countries. Plastic waste is slowly but surely taking over the world's oceans, and the bulk of them apparently comes from just 5 Asian countries. A study from Ocean Conservancy estimates that 55 to 60% of plastic polluting the oceans comes from 5 countries: China, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. Uncollected and mismanaged waste on land accounts for about 80% of the 8 million metric tons of trash that flow into the oceans each year. Environmental organization Greenpeace claims corporations are also at fault for selling products in single-use plastic packaging, especially in so-called sachet economies like the Philippines. Various studies have shown that plastic pollution negatively impacts marine animals and may be indirectly affecting humans through the food chain. Fortunately, improving waste management practices in the 5 countries can result in a 45% reduction of global plastic waste leakage by 2025. In tackling plastic pollution, everyone has a role to play. From governments and big conglomerates to the people on the street, every bit helps. Is it really the final straw for plastic? Take that straw out of your mouth. Cities are increasingly cracking down on single-use plastic straws. Americans use about 500 million straws a day, which works out to 1.5 straws a citizen every 24 hours. In the UK, 8.5 billion plastic straws are used each year. Straws are difficult to recycle and usually end up in landfills or being incinerated, but they are increasingly clogging up waterways and oceans as well. Cities worldwide are increasingly discouraging the use of straws, with some even outright banning them. Others have vowed to phase out plastics over the next decades. Plastic straw alternatives have also started to gain in popularity. They are made from materials like bamboo, metal, glass, paper, potato, or corn paste. But let's be honest, can you really teach an old dog new tricks? Giant plastic collector almost good for Pacific Garbage Patch. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch has an estimated 1.8 trillion pieces of plastics brought there by ocean currents and is roughly 3 times the size of France. The ocean cleanup is building a giant 2,000-foot-long plastic scooping system in Alameda, California that will serve as a barrier to trap plastics floating in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It's made from HDPE plastic and is flexible enough to bend with the waves, but rigid enough to form a U-shaped barrier to trap floating plastics pollution. A nylon screen underneath catches plastic without posing a threat to marine life. Large floating anchors hundreds of feet below the surface help steady the device so it moves slower in the current than the plastic, making it possible to pick up the garbage in front of the device. Boats will then come every 6 to 8 weeks to collect the plastics and take them back to land to be recycled. Ocean cleanup spokesperson Juice Dubois said that when the final systems are sent out to the Pacific Ocean, there will be 60 floating scoops in total.